All right, folks, overtime, week 4, Rob and Garrett talking all things legal in the NFL. We're going to go outside the NFL today. We're going to talk about what just got filed by Reggie Bush in federal court. And basically, to make a long story short, unjust enrichment claim. What you've seen lately, G, is these former athletes coming back and saying that there's an unjust enrichment claim, which basically means to the folks out there that you cashed in on my name, image, and likeness and didn't give us our cut. First time, though, that you've ever seen former players coming back and suing. How do you feel about that?
I think it's warranted. I think that it's been a scam for a long time now, the NCAA making money off of these players, and the coaches have been benefiting as well. They're making tens of millions of dollars, and they can go transfer schools whenever they want to, and they've had the players in little boxes where they cannot make any money and they cannot move teams unless they sacrifice eligibility and all these other benefits. So, I think it's about time. There are 2 big class action lawsuits that kind of got going with the name, image, and likeness going back to 2013 or 2006 was the cutoff. I think it was 2013 was like that cutoff. But now you see people like Reggie Bush going even saying, hey, even 2013 is still not enough. I'm going back for my playing time in 2003, 2005, where I'm winning championships. I'm winning the Heisman Trophy. You guys are making so much money off my jerseys.
On the cover of the NCAA 07 football. I'm on the PlayStation game. I'm building new stadiums. I can't agree with you more, man. I think there's a problem with the NCAA. We talked earlier. I was like, geez, can they afford? What's the pad on these things? And I got to say that the Bush complaint really well laid out. He goes as far as touching on the NCAA, their revenues, their profits, $1.3 billion, I think he put. He went in there and touched on how they sold his merchandise, his number, his name, his image, his likeness. He closes the complaint with the third cause of action, which is the unjust enrichment claim, where specifically says unjust enrichment occurs when one party retains a benefit and equity and good conscience belongs to another. The defendant's retention of benefits derived from the plaintiff, i.e. from Reggie, his name, his image, and likeness without compensation constitutes unjust enrichment. So exactly what you're saying. They used him, they used his number, they used his likeness to pour in millions upon millions. To me, the biggest issue is not how the NCAA is going to defend. Are they going to push for a defense of statute of limitations? How do they get this out of the court? How do they get this to resolve? But what I would think is, what's the trickle-down effect? Reggie's a huge name, right? But then you think of things like Johnny Manziel. Is he next? You think of like how far back are going to go? Is there a statute of limitations? Is this going to go into a giant class action, multiple complaints all over the place? Huge issue on the hand. We know that they're paying out current players. But man, there have been some heavyweights that have come through the college ranks. Where does this end? I think that's an intriguing standpoint. I think this actually, not on a lot of people's radar, but I think it's groundbreaking because this will have an absolute trickle-down effect. This begins an avalanche if this thing doesn't get resolved.
I'm rooting for the players.
Hey, that's overtime. That's legal formation. We're going to stay on top of this one. We're going to track this case a little bit. We're going to see how it works out. Does it go to a settlement to try to insulate themselves from further damage? Does the plaintiff lawyer go all in, blow the lid off of this thing and say, no, hey, we're going for the jugular? What kind of trickle-down effect? Does this snowball become an avalanche? Is this something that just creates something that the NCAA can't handle? Plus all the other defendants, man, they named the Pac-12. They named the University of Southern California. This is where I think Johnny Manziel, those big years, building a stadium at A&M off the back of what he was doing, bringing them to prowess. Like you said, how do you think you're playing in the SEC now? That didn't happen on you guys. That happened on Mike Evans. That happened on Manziel, lighting things up, TV royalties, anybody. Big case. We're going to stay on it. But that was the big legal news that we thought that just broke. Everybody stay safe out there, and we'll see you next week for a legal formation.
Good night and good luck.
Bum, 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 bum.